Hiya, my name's Charlie and welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be showing you my Victober TBR. Victober is a wonderful readathon that happens every single October and is hosted this year by the wonderful Katie from Books and Things, Kate Howe from obviously Kate Howe, Petra from Petra U, Roz from Scallydanding About the Books, and Marissa from Blatantly Bookish. So I'm going to go through all the challenges that they've set, what books I've got, and then like some extra ones on the end, okay? A lot of these books, being honest, I think I've kind of set myself quite an ambitious TBR, but it's more like a pile of possibilities. And like one of my lovely friends, Gemma from Gemma Books, always does crazy TBRs, and she says it doesn't really matter, like, because it doesn't really matter if I don't get to them. Really, it's just sort of like, yeah. So I might only get to one, I might only get to two. I'll see how we get on. But October is my birthday month, and so I sort of be a bit more gentle. I try to be a bit more gentle myself with how much I read. But so here we go. I've got it on my laptop right here, so I read them from here. Kate's challenge is to read a Victorian work with chronic or disability representation. So I've got two things for that, or two options for that. I've got The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins. The main thing I know about this is it's kind of like a crime novel that to do with like obviously a diamond going missing. It says when Rachel Verinda is given the Moonstone, a large Indian diamond, on her 18th birthday, she's delighted to show it off at her celebrations, but that night the jewel is stolen from her bedroom. As suspicion falls on each member of the party, the curse of the diamond strikes. An ill luck threatens to destroy them all. Will the noted detective Sergeant Cuff be able to solve the mystery, or will a strange case of hypnotism, opium, and Indian jugglers defeat even his brilliant mind? So this one has been on my shelves probably for the longest, I would say, out of all of them. So if I don't get to this one, I'm going to unhaul it. This might be a sacrilege thing to say in the Victober world, but yeah, it's been on my shelves too long. So I think hopefully I'm going to get to it. So yeah, I've got the audiobook of this, as I have I think for all of these, because you can get if you're a member of Audible, a lot of the classics you can get for free. So so yeah, I'm going to see hopefully my number one priority. Yeah. And that has got, like I said, chronic illness representation in, apparently, as do quite a lot of Wilkie Collins books, I think. Another one of the options I've got for this is Deerbrook by Harriet Martineau. I can't remember her name, again, picture on screen. I've got this on my Kindle. My lovely friend Leo from Leo's Book Life Instagram, link below, he loves this book, and he said to me so many times about making sure I try and prioritise it. So that is another one I want to get to if I can. In this book, in Deerbrook, we follow two sisters, Hester and Margaret, as they arrive in the village of Deerbrook, and apparently they've sort of set up with this apothecary person character called Mr. Grey, and one of them, there's speculation about which of the sister is going to marry him, and apparently the sister that ends up marrying him is apparently the one isn't the one that he wants to marry, apparently, and then there's like scandal to do with village gossip that sort of rifes their marriage. That is all I really know. I could be completely wrong in that assumption, but as with a lot of these classics, I like to go in sort of not knowing too much because I don't want to be spoiled. So yeah. And for Katie's challenge, we've got read a Victorian buildings Roman / coming of age story. The next one, so the book I have picked for this is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. In this book, in Great Expectations, we follow the character of Pip as he is growing up, and I'm not entirely sure about this, but it's obviously, I think this is like classic rags to riches kind of Dickens type story, I'm assuming. I know my sister has read this, Emily from Novo Novels, and she loved it. So yeah, I'm excited to get to this one. I'm going to try and listen to this on audiobook. The lovely Deborah from Booking with Deborah said that she found an audiobook narrated by Matt Lucas, and she said it was amazing. So that is how I'm going to aim to consume this, because Matt Lucas is brilliant, and I know that I'm sure his narration will bring it to life, and I trust what Deborah says. And if you're not subscribed to Deborah, go and subscribe to her as well, as along with all of these lovely, amazing Victober hosts. Obviously, all the links will be in the description, along with all the prompts and things like that down below. Right, so for Marissa's challenge, I've got read a Victorian short story. So I've got, for this, I've got a couple of these little penguin little black classics. I don't know whether these actually count for Victober because some of the dates might not quite fit. I'm assuming that they are, given that they're Oscar Wilde and Rudyard Kipling. These are like Victorian authors, but I'm not sure whether they actually, the time they were written in exactly fits because I haven't checked. But we've got the Gate of 100 Sorrows and Lord Arthur Savile's Grime. So yeah, a crime. Lord Arthur Savile's Crime. So hopefully I'll get to one of these two, and then if not, I'm not that worried really about this prompt too much, but yeah. For Petra's challenge, we've got read a Victorian book and watch a screen adaptation of it. So for this, I've chosen North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. I've read Cranford by Elizabeth Gaskell, but I have not yet read this one. This is like probably one of her most famous works, other than Wives and Daughters. And yeah, it's one I've been desperate to get to for a while. This is quite chunky, and it's got very, very small writing. I'm a little bit intimidated by it, to be honest. This is obviously covers the North-South divide and has like industrialisation in the plot, apparently. So yeah, I'm excited to finally find out about this and read more of Elizabeth Gaskell's work. So with this one, after I've read the book, I'm hoping to try and find a screen adaptation. I know there's been telly adaptations of this. I'm sure that it'll be quite easy to find an adaptation. But yeah, excited to read this one. Right, then for Roz's challenge, it's read a work of Victorian poetry, long or short. So for this, I went onto my Kindle. On the Kindle, there's loads and loads of, again, free like Victorian classics, loads of different types of classics. And one I found for, like I said, I picked is the Selective Poems of Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde, I love Oscar Wilde's work in general. Like I think I like Oscar Wilde is quite a good staple for Victober in general. So if you're looking for any quite good books to get into Victober, I would say like The Picture of Dorian Gray or any of Oscar Wilde's plays are quite a good starting point, I would say, just because they're quite easy to read and the plots are really interesting. And yeah, so yeah, highly recommend that. And that's obviously why I chose Oscar Wilde's poetry. So yeah, that's for that. I've now got 3 more books left on my pile of possibilities that are outside of all of these prompts. I've got The Professor by Charlotte Brontë. Again, this is another one that's been on my shelves for a little while. It's not very long, so it's less than 200 pages. I believe that we follow a character. This was Charlotte Bronte's first novel, I think. Yes, this was Charlotte Bronte's first novel, and it's set in Brussels, and we follow a character. On the back, I will read what it says. It says, "This story is one of love and doubt as the hero William Crimsworth seeks his fortune as a teacher in Brussels and finds love for the good Anglo-Swiss girl, Frances Henry, severely tested by strenuous, beguiling, manipulative headmistress Zoraide Reuter. This novel challenges many of the deeply held expectations of the time and is essential reading for all those seeking an understanding of the author and her work." So yeah, I definitely want to get to this. This shouldn't be too much of a challenge in terms of it. Like I said, it's not as beefy as some of the other ones on my TBR. So yeah, hopefully I'll manage to get to this one. And I've also got this one, The Selected Letters by Charlotte Brontë. I've had this, I think I got this for my birthday maybe like a year or two ago. And this I'm going to try and fit into the autumn mixtape TBR as well, because this has got nature on the cover, which is one of their challenges. And it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous book. And even if I don't read all of it, I think it might be just one I sort of dip in and out of. So yeah, at least I want to make a good start on it. So yeah, excited to get to this one. And finally, lastly but not leastly, the lovely Katie from Books and Things is, as I'm sure you're all aware, is hosting the Dickens Along. And the first book in the Dickens Along is, so what she's doing is basically reading all of Dickens' work in publication order. Starting October and November is going to be the Pickwick Papers, obviously by Charles Dickens. So obviously Dickens Along. And yeah, so I'm going to try and make a start on this in October. Again, I don't know anything about this one, but I'm excited to get to it. I'm fairly certain my sister has read this and she loved it. Again, this is very beefy. This is like nearly 800 pages, which is obviously why it's been read over the course of 2 months. So I might like tab it out and sort of like to like help me pace myself with it. But yeah, this will be another one ticked off my off Dickens list. So yeah, excited to read this. Let me know if any of you guys are joining in Victober, and if so, what are you reading? It's like Victober is such a staple in the BookTube calendar, and even when I haven't necessarily been making content, I've always tried and join and read like at least one piece of Victorian literature in October. In 2020, I read a classic nearly every single month, but this year and last year, I don't think I've really have read nearly as many classics as I want to. So it's a great opportunity to sort of dig in, look in your shelves and find out which ones will fit with this. And its classics are so cozy in the autumn months, and I 100% associate autumn and classics together. So yeah, it's just going to be so wonderful. And whatever ones I get to, I'm happy for. And if I only read one or two of these, that's fine too. So yeah, like I said, let me know if you are joining in and what you're reading. Sending you guys lots of love. Take care. Bye.